What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Screw It, Let's Do This podcast. I'm Therese.
And I'm Shelby.
And we are still in Miggy's Bakes right now. So when I say still, we're doing 2 recordings today. And we wanted to tell you guys that because if you hear mixers in the background,
there's the dishwasher going right now. I can hear.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of things going on. If you're watching the video, then you get to look at Miggy's again and see how cool it is. But today we're going to talk about something different. We're not going to talk about Miggy's Bakes, despite us both wearing pink and being here. Shelby, what are we going to talk about today?
Today we're going to talk about Therese's journey with Kickstarter. So that was a journey. It just ended.
Oh my gosh. Pure
Spoiler
stress.
alert. Therese did get all funding. She received over the amount she asked for.
Yes.
So you exceeded everything. Did you expect that?
No, I think the entire time, every single person that I talked to, which was so funny because I knew people were watching.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect so many people that I didn't know to be watching and at the edge of their seat. I think everyone thought it wasn't gonna make it.
I knew it was.
Well, but I don't know.
I knew it was.
There was like a group of, we'll call it 5 to 10 people who I think were willing to extend themselves if I got to the last day. Because I was not going to extend myself. I was not going to be like, oh, we're $5,000 away. I'm just going to put it in and put it under a different name. I wasn't going to do that because I didn't feel like if people in the community were willing to back it up, then I'll get the money through a bank loan and I will be paying it off throughout, a year's time. Because that's how much money I was looking to get. So Kickstarter. For those who have no idea what I'm talking about, Kickstarter is a crowdfunding platform. There's Kickstarter, there's Indiegogo. Those are really similar. And kind of the premise is you have a very short amount of time to raise a certain amount of dollars. And there's different pledge tiers. So mine was ranging from $5, which would be like a buy one, get one, like wine coupon. There was $4,000 where it was like charcuterie boards for a year, $2,000 where there is a plaque that will have your name on it. And my storefront is like, these are the founders, like the people that made it happen. I won't go through all of them, but another one I'm excited about is the launch party. And that was $1,000 where that the person and a guest will get, woo woo. Oh, do you have a question?
I do.
Oh, I thought you were.
I'm raising my hand with a question.
What? Yes. Shelby, yes.
Do I get to go?
Yes, you're invited. Yes! I'm really excited to talk about, and I'll talk about that more on this.
Is there a dance floor?
TBD.
What's the vibe?
I'll tell you the vibe. after.
Okay.
We'll
I'm
get
too
into
excited
that
now that I got invited.
Oh, are you serious? You didn't think you would get invited?
No, I didn't pledge $1,000. So no.
There I have a guest list of people that one I didn't expect to pledge or thought might have pledged, but are getting an invite regardless. And some of these people didn't even give to the Kickstarter. They just have given to me as like, they're the people that have built the business with me, like through their support, their like mentorship, yada, yada. Anyway, so I had all these pledge tiers and Shelby and I talked about Kickstarter a year ago. You and I started planning, you were going to do a Kickstarter at that time and we were at the Middleton Library and we were just talking about like what could be different pledge categories that people would give to. So I've had this in my mind for over a year that I'm doing a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And I was going to raise $20,000. Well, then I was like, I'm going to try to do more. I was like 22. It's like, but if I'm at 22, they're going to be taking around $2,000 worth of fees. So let's just go up to 24 and hope that I end up going over and get 25. Because a lot of people go over just like a little bit.
Yeah.
Very rarely do you see Kickstarters that just make it by like $1.
Right.
So I thought 25,000 would be really nice. So I put 24. So I create all these pledge categories. And I was, going back to when we talked about in the last episode about just like putting things off. I put off the Kickstarter for a couple of reasons. One, because like they say when you're procrastinating, it's because you don't like the emotions associated with the task. So for me, the emotions I had associated with that were like embarrassment if it didn't work out. Embarrassment that maybe people would think it was weird that I was asking for money because if I'm running this business that's so successful, why would I need money? I've been profitable since year one, but not profitable enough to not need like a really big loan. But I was scared about maybe like the image that could show. I was also scared with like, what are my pledge tiers going to be and how am I actually going to fulfill this all?
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing was just like, what are people going to think and what if I don't get it? It feels embarrassing. Like it feels like I've cursed my business then if I set something that big and don't get it and it's public. So I put it off for a while and then I didn't realize they went through such a thorough review process. So when I submitted it, I launched to the news that I was going to have my storefront and within a few days I was going to launch the Kickstarter. Well, because of the review process, I got denied and it went to my spam. And I was like, why is this not live yet? I couldn't launch it for like a week and a half after getting the news out about my storefront. So that's the first thing I learned about Kickstarter is if you're going to drop news that's going to bring 50,000 people to your account in a week, which my stats showed me that 50,000 people came to my account in 1 week. How is that even possible? I have 8,000 followers. Like, thanks for not following me, you guys. But I had touched 50,000 accounts in that 1 week. And then, the Kickstarter, if I would have done that, I think people that were just browsing my site would feel this excitement and want to give. And I didn't get it out for a week and a half. And I could see like, as the Kickstarter was going, it was like 40,000 accounts as senior account in the past 30 days, 30,000. So it was going down by a lot. And so, first mistake was like, if you're going to have some big news around a dropping of something or, a launching of a new thing, that's when you do a Kickstarter. It's like when you're expanding your business or offering something big, have it ready. The review process takes a couple days. Also, one thing I want to specify is a lot of people ask me, they're like, why in the heck would you do it for 20 days? I gave myself 20 days to raise $24,000.
So you can choose like whatever dates you want?
I could, basically they give you ranges. They're like, the high success rate is under 30 days. So a lot of people will do 30 days. I decided 20 because I was like, oh, we're going to get this in no time. Like, this confidence for no reason. The premise of GoFundMe is totally different. Everyone's like, why wouldn't you do GoFundMe? Because like that's not all or nothing. But I wanted the stress. I wanted people to feel like they were a part of like rallying people to like get people to donate. Because like GoFundMes are very passive. I wanted something more aggressive. And I also feel like GoFundMes are a good place if like your company strikes a really hard time or like family or, it's like health issues. If someone gets in an accident or like you're facing foreclosure because of something flooded in your storefront or like the panini. I see a lot of that where it's like the panini has affected their store. They're like desperately searching for help with a GoFundMe. Once I finally got around to launching the Kickstarter, I was with you that day. You're like, oh, you're going to get that no problem. I mean, we had interviewed a guest and she's like, yeah, you're going to get it no problem. I'm like, perfect. I'm feeling so great about it. So I post it and I had read online that the first 72 hours are the most important. So I'm like, okay, this has to be good. This has to be good. Like, let's get fully funded in 72 hours. Like, people are just waiting to give me money. Like, let's go. And the first 72 hours were so many emotions. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I finally did this. Like, it was so,
I'd be freaking out.
Yeah. I was like, all of this overwhelming thoughts of like, what are people going to think? Or like, is this going to work? Is it going to be a dud? Is it going to just blow me out of the water? And finally I posted it and I had a lot of excitement for the first 72 hours. I mean, people were Venmoing me because they didn't want me to like get the fees. And I'm like, thank you so much, but you might need to put that to the Kickstarter, like, because I might not get there. And then other people out of nowhere, some people I didn't even know were giving me like $1,000 and now they're going to be at the launch party. And some, I mean, that first day was I felt so emotional. Like I cried multiple times, just seeing the people that were really supporting me.
Yeah.
Because I think this is like an awkward thing to say, but I do think that no matter what you do in your life, there's always people that are secretly hoping you lose because it's entertaining. And they don't want to they're like salty that they didn't do it. So they don't want to see do it. So I knew that I had over 1,000 clicks on my link in the first 72 hours, 1,000 clicks, but I had 50 backers or like 30 backers or something, a pretty small number of backers. So a lot of people were curious. And that's where I started feeling like, these people are looking at it, but aren't feeling compelled to support it. So they're secretly judging it, whether they're impressed or they're secretly judging it.
Yeah.
But they're not giving. So like, did I mess up with my tiers? And there's a couple different ways that you can do this. My tiers were definitely more, basically the way I priced it was if you were pledging $600, the cost of me to fulfill it was 1/10 of that. So I was marking it up in like super high. I thought that, in my head, I'm like, that's the point of Kickstarter. You're supposed to mark it up because it's not like I already have products, you can support me and I do make a profit margin from that, but like a big enough profit margin where I actually get to keep a lot of that money would be a 10% or 10-time markup is the way I just did it. And I modeled off of a lot of different, like our friend Ice Cream Social had her Kickstarter and a couple other charcuterie businesses that I had followed that did it. So I was kind of going off of theirs. But I was like, crap, after 72 hours, it kind of like slowed down a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wait, where are all the people that, I hear about I donate to a lot of silent auctions. I'm like, where are all the people that bid $100,000 on like a basketball?
Yeah.
Because I do those all the time. So I know the inside scoop. I know that there are a very small amount of people, but is an amount of people that they just give money away to things that they believe in because they struck gold with their business. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I feel
they
like
just have it.
Yes,
yeah.
We've all heard stories of people, like even, how I built this podcast. There's stories of like entrepreneurs that are about to go bankrupt and someone will give them $1 million to be an investor in their business. I'm like, where are you people?
Where are they?
And so I had some people giving like, thousands of dollars. I did have some people reach out asking if I was interested in like investors and were willing to give like more money for like a slice of the pie. But I was like, at this point, like my whole project for the storefront is going to be around I hate saying $250,000 because that sounds insane, but it will be like between 220 and 250 on the high end. Hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But planning for the worst. But so it's a lot of money, but it's not unrealistic for me to be able to pay off a loan like that within a couple, 5 to 7 years with my projections. So yeah, I wasn't taking things like that, but I was thinking about it as like, we were not getting anywhere. Like, were you watching the numbers go up or were you so busy here? Did you even notice like how stressful you didn't notice? Oh my God.
I'm gonna be totally honest. I didn't. I mean, I saw like your daily SpongeBob things.
Oh, that was at
and
the
you were
end.
like 21%, 58%. Like I was watching that and that was really fun. My whole goal was to be the final person that hit the mark where you went over.
Why did everyone have that idea? You weren't the only one. I told you weren't the only one that texted me that, right?
No.
Oh,
that's what I wanted to do.
I don't know. There's this like sick psychology, I think, that comes with the Kickstarter that I didn't know. And I must either didn't do enough research or didn't listen to I didn't get any advice. I didn't personally know anyone that did a Kickstarter like that well enough where I could pick up the phone and just call them. How it worked was like the first 72 hours were hype. People were sharing. And then 24 hours went by. We'd go up 1%. I'd post an update. We'd go up a little bit more. And it was so slow. That next week was so discouraging. I started planning my failure speech. I was thinking about, I was going to talk about it on the podcast and I was going to say, well, you can't win them all. Like, and eventually like the thing is this, you honestly can't always just put an idea out there and always win. Although I feel like we have this like belief in ourselves and other people believe in us. And we also have the work ethic to back it up. Where I do feel like if we go after something, we could get close to being successful, but like that doesn't mean that we don't fail.
Yeah.
And I do think we have quote unquote like failed or fallen on our faces a lot, but never publicly
like that.
I know, actually I know behind the scenes. Like,
behind the scenes all the time.
But publicly to put it out there, I mean, I did start thinking like, what am I going to say to people when I don't get it? And I was like, we were stuck around like 5, 6, 7,000 out of 24,000. Like once I got to around 20% to like 60% was so slow. I definitely was planning my failure speech. So I didn't even give an update for like a day or two because I'm like, this is embarrassing. It hasn't gone up at all. So do I just like stop trying and kind of like bow out?
Mm-hmm.
And so then I would get another pledge from like, for example, like my parents pledged and I thought I did not expect, I wanted to say this on this podcast because I never expected any of my family. I never expected my parents, my siblings, or any of my cousins to give because when I put this out there, I really wanted it to be backed up by people in the community that actually used my services because like I wanted it to be that because this is a business and I wanted the people that enjoy my business to actually like support it. And so I never, this kind of hits my pride. This is going to like be a prideful thing. And I don't know if I would have ended up doing this. Oh, here, let me tell you the story. I never posted my Kickstarter once on my personal Facebook or my personal Instagram because I didn't want anyone from my family to feel compelled to give.
Yeah.
I did post on my LinkedIn, sent to my email list of Turkey Foods on Turkey Foods page. Like that was it because those are the people I wanted to hit. Word did get around though to my mom's side especially, like, and also sorry, like my dad's side too, but my mom's side, I had some cousins that were really rallying. They were like, you're so close. And like, they were telling all their siblings and like, you can't see everyone's last name on Kickstarter. but I'm like, how many Kayas do I know? Yeah. Cousin Kaya, I know she's listening, but that was really, really sweet. But I didn't, that was kind of like my last resort in my mind. So the first 3 days, like I said, crazy, then tapered off super slow. And then I would get like, $1,000 or $2,000. And that would be enough to like bump it up a percentage where I felt like super happy to make an update and I get some restored hope. And I think like what changed the game, because I was very down for a while, but what changed the game was when we finally got to like 45%, I felt like when we got to the halfway mark, like things would change. Like people that were watching would actually feel like they wanted to give. Because like I know there are so many people that saw it and didn't give to it until they probably saw me post about it 15 times. One of the biggest things about Kickstarter is you want to like show that you are excited about it and you have energy behind it and you believe in it, because that influences other people to believe. Also seeing the percentages go up, like that also influences people to believe. So what really changed the game is when I never was like, guys, please give to me. I was always like, yes, yesterday we were at 32, now we're at 35. Like, let's freaking go. Like, even though I'm like, oh, this is so slow. I kept wanting to show excitement. And then when I switched over to the SpongeBob memes, like
that did it.
It changed the dynamic. People really liked that. I think it hit people's childhood, or maybe it reminded them that I'm 26. Like, I grew up with SpongeBob. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what the generational hit off was that, but a lot of people came up to me and they're like, something changed when you started posting that. Like, I used something called CapCut. I think people thought
So if people are looking to do a Kickstarter, do you recommend them using SpongeBob memes?
Well,
is that what you're saying?
I think I relate with I had SpongeBob themed birthday parties for like 8 years of my life. Pin the nose on the SpongeBob, a SpongeBob pinata. Like, when I started using that as my muse, I felt inspired. Something changed where I was having fun, because I was not having fun with Kickstarter. I didn't realize another thing that I learned is like the campaign. I felt like I was campaigning to be president of the United States with that thing. I'm sitting here, I'm doing newsletters. Like someone from the Tricky team, Jamie, she was doing newsletters. Like, it's 72 hours left. Like, let's go. Like, we kept trying to hit people. I was growing my email list, like Instagram and Facebook. I was posting up to 4 times a day. Gag me with a spoon.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. So like to be posting on there 4 times a day, you told me to like continue talking about my story. And it's like, well, shoot, I don't even know where to start. My story's so long. It's like, I just want to direct them to my podcast.
Yeah.
The podcast. But I was trying to hit on the story of like, this is why, you should be supporting this business and this vision and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so things really started to change. But also one thing I did notice when things are really dry and I was about to like really wanting to give up, I had a lot of people reaching out with like new ideas. So our friends, Katie and Kevin, who own a coffee shop called Hodgepodge, they reached out to me and they put me in a chat with them. And we just started, they're like, hey, we've got some ideas. Let's talk. They were like, let's do a fundraiser night at Hodgepodge. And I was like, I don't feel great about a fundraiser because like these funds are going to a for-profit business. Like I don't want a portion of their sales. They gave me a different idea and I got together and brainstormed with Kevin. He's like, do a gift card drive. Like, you know how at the holidays people do gift card drives. Well, I was like, if someone's pledging $35 and I give them a $35 gift card, well, then I'm also throwing in a free charcuterie cup. Well, that's kind of like the value. That's like the value tier. So like people that, some people are giving $600 for like a $60 item. That's a whole different group of people versus the people that feel comfortable giving $5 or, pre-purchasing a gift card. That brings in a whole different tier of people. And I should have thought about that. I, for some reason, thought that all these high rollers were going to roll to my page and just be like, oh, I love what she's doing.
Cute.
Chives, send to the car, like, bring the money bags.
Yeah.
But I should have realized that there's most of my followers, including myself, like I wouldn't be able to give more than like, under $100 to something like that.
Yeah.
But the gift card drive was a game changer. Although like that money goes straight back to them. It created a lot of hype because we're having a backer party now. Everyone gets a free charcuterie cup and now everyone's getting gift cards that they have to guaranteed come back. And of course, like for those who don't know this is like, I guess insider business scoop is like people sell gift cards, but the actual usage rate on gift cards, do we know the percentage?
Low.
Is it like 60?
Yeah. You would be shocked.
And I, as a consumer, fall into that category because I mass buy gift cards to like my favorite coffee shops during the holidays. And I'm like, yeah, I just got like $5 for free. And then I lose my wallet and lose all my gift cards. And it's not their fault. We're not hoping you lose your gift cards, but
but the numbers are there.
The numbers are there. So
yeah,
the gift card drive is huge. Adding in a BOGO wine voucher, that was just helpful just to get people hyped. And then having that small time period, like the 20 days, people were rallying on the last week. I mean, people with over like hundreds of thousands of followers that I'm friends with were rallying for me. And I couldn't believe it. And I think like if it wasn't that time constraint and that all or nothing aspect, like that got people going.
Yeah.
I think I thought all the big people, like all the big pledges were going to come at the beginning. I didn't think after a certain point they would come, and they still did. Even though I felt like a loser, I was playing like a winner, and I pulled out the SpongeBob memes. We started going up really fast, like 60. And then once you get to 75, it's like, well, you're only 25% of the way left. Like, let's go. People are like, okay, I want to just see this over. Maybe some people were like, I'm sick of seeing her post about it. I'm like,
then unfollow me.
No, then just give to me so we can move on. Once we got to like 80%, 85%, we got to 110% within 24 hours. And, I'm so grateful for that. But the only thing I could think was like, where were you guys a week ago?
The stress. Yeah.
And like, again, I couldn't believe that last week. Like, I knew a lot of people were watching because so many people were, sending me ideas. They're like, hey, I will give a free photo session package to anyone that pledges. Cause like, I can't financially give, but I can give my times and my talents and you can profit off of it. I'm like, that's so sweet. Like, I'll let you know if we do that. I didn't get to take everyone's stuff because, I need to manage the fulfillment too. So I didn't want to make it too crazy. On my last, it was 4 days. We had raised 20,000. We had 4,000 left. And I had someone message me saying, hey, I just want to let you know, like, we're going to send this out to our really big subscriber list. And this is a fellow business owner that I've met a handful of times and I really look up to this person. But this specific person said that no matter where you're at on Wednesday, I'm going to give you the rest of the money. Like, our business is going to give you the rest. And I literally cried. My mom cried. And I was like, Mom, why are you crying? She's like, I was going to make sure you got to the end.
Oh.
And I couldn't believe that. Even
that makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
And she's crying and she is advocating like the community that I felt around this. And I'm sure you feel this with having your storefront. Like, if you give people, we can all go through things alone, and I could take out a larger loan or just have more debt to pay this off or whatever. And, I'm secretly the one that's, we'll say air quotes, like struggling with that because now I have payments for like an additional year or whatnot. Or I put it out there that like, hey, this is what my project is. This is like my vision and belief of the business, yada, yada. Do you want to be on my team? My like slogan was, be a part of the Tricky Food story, because like all 252 backers like are a piece of the story.
Yeah.
And that Kickstarter will always be on there. I will always like have their names. Like, I got to go through that list and like know those names. But the amount of people that were, I think, willing to secretly like get me to the finish line. Ken and I remember saying like, I'm willing to give you like X amount of dollars. And I'm like, I don't want it to be you, because the way I view it is like, your money's my money someday. So like,
don't give it to me.
Yeah. I'm like, but that's really nice. And the amount of people that were like, I wanted to get you to the finish line, or like, I would not have let you fail. It was like, Operation Do Not Let Therese Fail. And like, I couldn't believe that, because I felt so alone doing it, because it's just, I'm the one that's asking for it for my business that I solely own. So like, it all falls on me whether we make it or not. That was like really touching. I think the end was like, it made everything worth it, because I remember thinking like, if I could go back, I wish I would have just asked for 18,000. So this could just be over, because I was thinking about it all day long. Like, I was already so busy, and then to have to think about like campaigning for Kickstarter was like, oh my gosh. But then it got fun at the end, especially after I got that message about this specific business owner being willing to get me to the end. I didn't want to need to depend on one person though.
But it feels good.
Yes, it feels good to know that I've got that, but I still wanted to work just as hard. So I was campaigning just as hard. And suddenly we get to like 90%, and I get a text from some of our friends from Hodgepodge. And they just said, hey, I have this guaranteed idea that I know will get you to the finish line. Can we like hop on a call? I'm like, I'm with my family right now, so I can't, but like, can you email me? And then they text me, they go, surprise, winky face, and they get me to the top. And
I just got chills.
Oh,
that's so nice.
I couldn't believe it. I was at Starbucks and I'm like pacing. I'm like, are you kidding me? And like, then right after we got to the top, or I think everyone was watching to see that I was so close.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, everyone was watching at the end, because like I went from 90% to 110% so quickly. I'm like, pause. Like, why are you guys still giving to me? Because like I said, I was not depending on any friends, like close friends or family, to give to me. But it's like they were all waiting until the end to see like how much I needed, because everyone that I was kind of thinking maybe would have given even like a small amount, all these familiar names started coming through. And it's like all these people were watching until the end to, I think, just decide if they were going to give me like, a congratulatory gift or like help me close the gap. I couldn't believe all the people that like showed up at the end and didn't just give like a little bit. Like, some people were still giving hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars to get me to the finish line. I'm like, you guys, I'm at my goal.
Yeah.
We're good now. But like, we got to $26,700 on Kickstarter. And gosh, how much offline? I mean, I had people asking me like, even on Facebook, hey, could I still give on Venmo? Strangers, again, like I don't know who they are, and family that wanted to like still be a part of the business because they believe in like me and the entrepreneurial goal. My mom's side specifically, they love an underdog story. So they're just like, they wanted to give, which was so kind. Yeah, I mean, any of my family and friends, like I said, I haven't gone through the list to like see everyone's names yet, but we ended up having 252 backers on Kickstarter, raising $26,700, closer to like $27,500 with the Venmos. And what a relief. Like a Kickstarter is going to take 5%. The credit card processing fees is 3%. So I do lose like $2,000, which is like, but like where else on what platform are you going to get a ton of people, 252 people to give you anywhere between $5,000 and $2,500. That's incredible. The money will drop in my account in a couple of weeks. And
I'll feel
now
good.
I have to, it feels awesome. Like I felt weightless for the first time in like a really long time because I've been thinking about that Kickstarter for a year.
Yeah.
And launching the, telling the storefront and all that stuff. Now I have to fulfill everything.
Yeah.
So we're planning the launch party.
Another check. Yeah.
It will be at the Tinsmith, which I'm really excited about. We're going to have, I'm thinking around 100 people. I'm going to do a whole presentation about like what got me to like where we're at, like talk about what's happened with the storefront. Because most of the people that will be invited have just met me in the past 1 to 2.5 years.
Are you going to mention me?
Of course. What do you mean? But like, you didn't know me 3 years ago. And like what led up to that? Like I want to talk about that. And I have got some probably like toddler videos of me being like, wait until I make my millions, mom.
Yeah.
Or like,
you're going to be sobbing.
Oh my, I totally hope so. But at the same time, I hope not.
You will. You will.
I think my mom will be sobbing. The way I see this is going to be like a wedding, but like what's getting married is me to my business.
I feel like I'm going to be there. Like what kind of job can I have?
Can
I wear a napkin?
Oh, I would love nothing more than to have you do something. We're going to have custom cookies though too. I'll talk to you about something. I don't know what we're going to do for all the desserts, but I want like the fancy cookies that look like cheese and charcuterie. So I want that as like the party favors. We're definitely going to have kitty cocktails and like fun drinks. Because like my family loves kitty cocktails. But it's going to be like mostly people in the business community. Like it's not an actual wedding. Like I can't invite all hundreds of my family members, but I'm really, really excited about that one. The backer party is coming up on July 13th, and that's at Hodgepodge, where we're just going to sit and like, I might have some like, blow ups of what the plans are going to be, like an inside scoop. Anyways, to sum up for anyone that wants to do a Kickstarter, I would just say like plan ahead a little bit and like post it when there's big news dropping. I would say you're going to feel like a loser, but you have to play like a winner and show constant excitement and constant updates. But you have to still give your people not just Kickstarter updates, you have to still give them content. So every other photo, if you look at my grid, it's a Kickstarter update. And then my content was the best it's ever been in like 3 years. I'm bumping out content. But then also like having fun with it, like you have to actually convince people you're having fun with it. And the only way to convince people you're having fun with it is to probably have fun with it. So like for me, SpongeBob was everything. I used an app called CapCut, which you told me about. And there's so many awesome, like you can type in anything and it was super easy. I would just add the uploaded photo and it would be put in a meme.
Yeah.
So I think like showing that excitement. And then this is the biggest thing was like, I texted you guys when it launched that like, hey, I'm launching this Kickstarter tomorrow. I could really use your guys' support. Like not monetary support, but the fact that you guys have big accounts. So like you put me in your newsletter, asking to be put in people's newsletters was huge, your own newsletters, and just having your friends like reshare it. Because the more hype that's around it, the more like people want to say like, yeah, I helped with that. I think that was the biggest thing I learned from Kickstarter, but my gosh, I don't want to do another one for a long time.
That like would cause me so much anxiety. Like I know we talked about it originally like a year ago, whenever that was. And my anxiety level of like having to watch the money, like I don't think I could actually go through with it.
Yeah. I was like trying to tell myself when I didn't think we were going to make it. Cause like I said, like if I put on Instagram, like raise your hand if you didn't think I was going to make it for a time, I think everyone would have felt that way. Cause even Kenan was like, I never told you this, but for a few days, for like 4 days, I didn't think you'd make it. And so people were donating to Kickstarter, messaging me on the side being like, hey, whether your Kickstarter makes it or not, I still want to give you this money. So I don't regret it. I was nervous. Yeah, I would just say if anyone's trying to do a Kickstarter, if you like pressure, buckle up. And if you like pressure, then fine, do it for 20 days. I think 30 days might be fine too. I don't regret anything I did, but like you could also do less and, 18,000 or 15,000 and not worry so much.
Yeah.
But I
It's a
shot high.
gamble.
I shot high and I was like, oh, did I get cocky here? Like, why did I do this? But I shot high and I actually made the basket. So yeah, for everyone listening, especially to the 252 people that backed it or to all the people that just shared, like, thank you. That seriously means so much. I haven't even been able to give everyone a proper thank you. I will never forget what the people that were advocating for me throughout that whole process. Like, I'll never forget those people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah. So that's Kickstarter 101. I hope you guys learned something. I hope there's some takeaways there.
I learned some things. I didn't know much about Kickstarter before you did it, so
Yeah.
it was fun to watch. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, everyone. You can find us on YouTube. Subscribe once we get to 1,000 subscribers.
Send us.
Once we get to 1,000 subscribers.
We're going to have a big surprise and it'll be really fun. Listen to us anywhere you get your podcast.
Give
review
us
on
review.
Spotify.
5-star or don't review us at all.
Yeah, or just don't. And you could find me at Miggy's Bakes.
You can find me at Tricky Foods, and you can find our podcast at Screw It, Let's Do This.
And we'll see you next time.
See you on Wednesday, everyone. Bye.
Bye.